Our veteran today is being sponsored by Representative Bowles. Representative Bowles, you're recognized to introduce the Veteran of the Week.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, today is a very special day for me as I get to introduce our Veteran of the Week, Army Sergeant Riesel Troxel. Mr. Troxel is from my hometown, Marlow, Oklahoma, located in District 51. He's also accompanied by his daughter, Liz Anderson, granddaughter, Tracy Nichols, and also Debbie Bass, who's a representative from the Oklahoma Quilt of Valor, who will later present Sergeant Troxel with the quilt. Sergeant Troxel served in the United States Army during World War II from 1944 to 1946, where he was a member of the Engineer Aviation Utility Detachment, serving in the Marianas Islands, where he operated a 52-ton NW diesel-powered shovel mounted on tracks where he dug coral out of pits and loaded it on trucks. And as a mechanic of sorts, he made the necessary repairs and adjustments to the shovel and drove a 24-foot semi-trailer truck hauling water and diesel fuel. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I'd like to ask the clerk to read the citation.
Clerk will read.
Whereas Riesel Troxel, retired sergeant and a resident of Marlow, Oklahoma, served the United States Army from 1944 to 1946 and was a member of the Engineer Aviation Utility Detachment stationed in the Mariana Islands. And whereas Riesel Troxel is the recipient of the American Theater Campaign Ribbon, the Asiatic Pacific Campaign Ribbon, and the Good Conduct Medal, and the Victory Ribbon, and one overseas bar. And whereas amongst the most honored of all those in public service are veterans who have protected all Americans from enemies both foreign and domestic. And whereas the state of Oklahoma holds our veterans in the highest esteem and appreciates the sacrifices and contributions they have made to preserve our freedoms and way of life. Now, therefore, pursuant to the motion of Representative Brad Bowles, Senator Paul Scott, and the House Chairman of Veterans and Military Affairs, the Oklahoma House of Representatives on the first session of the 57th Legislature takes great pride in honoring you as Veteran of the Week and extends sincere commendations and directs this citation be presented on the 29th day of April 2019.
Representative Bowles, you're recognized to continue your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Some of you may not know this, but Mr. Troxel became somewhat of a celebrity after his family posted on Facebook that he was turning 94 this year, on April 17th. After this post, many people, thousands of people, started sharing it, liking it all over Facebook, resulting in, as of the last time they counted, which I don't know how they counted this much, over 135,000 birthday cards received from all over the world. And that's right, the world, from U.S. citizens, even from Antarctica. And not only did they get birthday cards, but I got emails from all over the country from people saying, hey, did you know that this person lives in your district? And you need to go talk to them and do something with this constituent. And so it's a great honor to have someone like Sergeant Troxel living in my district, and it's a great honor to have him here today in the House of Representatives. At 94 years old, Mr. Troxel is in the battle of his life. He's currently receiving radiation treatments to fight cancer, and he wasn't able to make it here during the week of his birthday due to his radiation schedule. But Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask permission for the members to sing Sergeant Troxel happy birthday, even though we're about a week and a half behind his birthday schedule, if you don't mind.
What if we could get someone to lead the singing? Representative Branson, would you lead us in the singing of the happy birthday, please?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday, dear Troxel. Happy birthday to you.
You're recognized to continue your presentation.
And Sergeant Troxel, on behalf of the House of Representatives, I have a birthday card to add to your collection from all the House of Representatives, signed from them, that I'd like to give you. And then I'll give it to him afterwards. We have a flag flown over the Capitol, a U.S. flag and Oklahoma flag flown on his birthday. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, could you please recognize Debbie Bass, representative from the Oklahoma Quilt of Valor, who will present Sergeant Troxel with a special quilt.
Ms. Bass, you're recognized to present the quilt. You're recognized.
I'm Debbie Bass with Oklahoma Quilt of Valor. I'm with a national organization, and excuse me while I shed some tears. I do it every one. The purpose of the Quilts of Valor is to give warmth and comfort to each one of our veterans that have been touched by war, not necessarily ones that seen war, but other people who have been touched by war, such as medical, the morgues that have treated the bodies that come back to their families, and so on and so forth. The National Quilts of Valor wishes to recognize Mr. Troxel for his service of our nation. We consider it to be a privilege and an honor. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice and service to protect and defend the United States of America, and its expression of gratitude, we award you this Quilt of Valor. Each quilt is made by numerous people throughout the United States and Oklahoma in appreciation of our veterans. This one is made in Oklahoma, and it has a label with his name and the date it's awarded, and on this quilt you'll see a star. This star was meant to go on a flag. It was a piece of a blue field of stars that were supposed to go on a flag. The company had a misfit, and when that misfit happens, they cut those stars loose and throw them away. One of the employees at one of the flag companies pulled the stars out of the trash and said, "These are going to go to the Quilts of Valor to honor our flags and our veterans." So at this time, I will wrap Mr. Troxel's quilt with the assistance of my husband around him. He's been saying he's cold. And these are all made by volunteers and donations.
Would the members and guests remain standing, please, if you're in the gallery, as you're able, for our Pledge of Allegiance? Representative Bowles, you're recognized to present the Pledge of Allegiance.
Members, please stand, salute, pledge. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.